All right, what's up, everybody? It's Ethan here, coming to you from the Bear Lake Trailhead in Rocky Mountain National Park. It is a balmy 10 degrees up here right now, so it's very cold. And to be honest with you, I do not really know what I'm doing today. I'm gonna hike around, have some fun. Ideally, I would like to get up to Flat Top Mountain, but Flat Top is over 12,000 feet, so it's well above tree line. And considering that it is late December, very cold today, and the park did just get some fresh snow just a couple of days ago, I'm not exactly quite sure that I'm going to be able to make it all the way up there, but I'm gonna go as far in as I want, as I feel comfortable with, and have a good time. This should be really fun either way. I haven't been to Rocky Mountain in a little while, so it's good to be back here, especially during winter. I love coming out here during winter. A lot less people and a very beautiful place to hike in the wintertime, as you can plainly see. So there's Hallett Peak up there, and kind of behind that hill is where Flat Top Mountain is. It's about 400 feet shorter than Hallett Peak, so potentially could go all the way up there. I kind of doubt it though, but I'm gonna get hiking. All right, well, I made it to the first trail junction, about a half mile in, going left to head over, continue up towards Flat Top Mountain. You can see some of those beautiful peaks through the trees. It's very beautiful up here, and so far the trail is really well packed down. So I'm going to keep heading towards Flat Top. Now, obviously trail conditions could change around any corner, so like I said at the beginning, I don't really have any expectations for anything I'm going to accomplish on this hike. I'm just trying to have a fun day out here, but my potential goal is definitely to get to Flat Top Mountain, so if I can, I would definitely like to get up there. So far things are looking good. Turning out to be quite the beautiful morning up here. Wow. I absolutely love hiking in Rocky Mountain during the wintertime. I actually prefer hiking out here in the winter over the summer, just because of how much less crowded it is, and it's just so quiet and peaceful out here during the wintertime. And I mean, this area that I'm hiking through, this is easily probably the most popular area to hike in the park. And I mean, I've seen like a couple other people, and I'm assuming the higher up I go, the less and less people I'll see. But I do have to cut the video off here because I'm not trying to trudge through that while holding my trekking poles in one hand and my phone in the other. All right, well, I've reached the next trail junction here, and of course I'll be going to the left for Flat Top Mountain, and the right takes you to Odessa and Fern Lake. You can, excuse me, you can actually get to both of those lakes from down in Moraine Park with a shorter hike than it is from up here at Bear Lake, or where I was at Bear Lake. Should be about 3.5 miles from the summit of Flat Top at this point, so still a ways to go. All right, well, I stepped off the trail just for a second to get this awesome view, this little overlook here. This is incredible. Such a beautiful place. I swear, I've been to Rocky Mountain National Park so many times, and winter, summer, whatever, It never gets old. It is absolutely stunningly beautiful out here. All right, well, I still probably have about 3 miles, maybe a little over 3 miles to the summit of Flat Top. So I'm making my way up there. It's only 8:30 in the morning, so it's still pretty early. So I got plenty of time to take my time. And, you know, like I said, if the trail conditions change and I can't make it up there, then so be it. But it would definitely be nice to get up to the summit. But I don't have the summit fever today. If I never get like that in the winter time. In the winter time, in the summertime, sometimes I'll have the summit fever and I'll be like, like nothing's stopping me. I got to get to this summit when I'm doing a 13er or a 14er. But in the winter time, it's a totally different thing. And I mean, you have to be very willing to turn around if anything is not right. So like I said, if the trail conditions do change higher up, or I get into an area that has some like avalanche risk, or whatever the case may be, I'll definitely turn around. Now it's not windy at all up here, but I can definitely hear some wind higher up. I can hear it, so I know for a fact that it's going to be windy above tree line if I make it that high up. But of course that is to be expected. I swear it's like every time you turn a corner you get another spectacular vista. So you can actually see Estes Park way out in the distance over there. And over there, I believe that's Bierstadt Lake, which was actually going to be one of my backup plans for a hike if Flat Top didn't work out, which that's still to be determined. But man, what an amazing view. I'm up at about 10,300 feet right now, so I got about 1,000 feet of elevation gain left to get to the tree line. And as you can see, the trail is still really well packed down, well broken in good condition. I haven't seen anybody since getting about 3/4 of a mile away from Bear Lake, but you can definitely tell that a good amount of people hike up this trail because of how well broken in it is, which is perfect. No snowshoes needed, haven't needed to put on spikes, nothing, just my hiking boots. All right, well, I made it to the Dream Lake Overlook. So that is Dream Lake down there. It's obviously completely frozen over, so it kind of blends in a little bit, but that is Dream Lake. And getting some spectacular views from this overlook. It's kind of being blocked by this tree, but Howlett Peak is right there. Flat Top Mountain is over there. And one mountain we do get a pretty awesome view of from up here is Long's Peak right there, the tallest mountain in the national park, 14,259 feet. And not an easy mountain to climb. So I'm going to keep heading up the trail this way. The trail conditions have been less than ideal for the last like 1/4 mile or so. I'm hoping it improves, but it's you can tell that it's getting less and less traveled the higher up I go, and it's definitely not as well broken in up here as it was further down, but it's still good enough that I can keep going without any problems. All right, well, I'm still just a little bit further up from the Dream Lake Overlook, and I will say, when you get to that overlook, the trail becomes really hard to follow, pretty much impossible to follow. There's some massive snowdrifts out there, and I kind of just hiked around, and I was hoping, I knew the general direction of which way to go from the overlook, because I did hike this trail a couple years back over the summer. And so I kind of just hiked in the general direction that I thought the trail would continue going. And eventually I did find, a broken in trail again. So just if you are coming up here, just be cautious of that. And I'm hoping that I don't see too much more of that heading up this way because, yeah, route finding is not something I'm trying to do today. So hopefully that's the worst of it. But like I was saying earlier, this trail is definitely not as well broken in or well traveled up this high than it was closer down to Bear Lake, which is understandable. Not a lot of people hike this high up in altitude here in Rocky Mountain in the winter. You can actually see the trail I'm on right now. I can still tell I'm on the trail, but nobody's been through here in the last couple of days because the few inches of snow that the park got a couple days ago hasn't been hiked over at all. And here, look, here's another spot right here. It's exactly what I'm talking about. The trail just kind of ends in these massive snowdrifts. So honestly, I'm not sure how much further up I'm going to be able to make it. I mean, if it continues like this, I might just have to turn back. All right, well, I'm up at about 10,750 feet right now, still obviously in the woods. And I'll tell you, there are some massive snowdrifts along this trail. Pretty much ever since passing the Dream Lake Overlook, there's just been tons of these massive snowdrifts that are blocking the trail and making the trail hard to find. And you have to kind of trudge through it and post hole, and then you get on the other side of the snowdrift and you find the trail again. But this has definitely gotten more difficult to navigate through than it was in the first, mile and a half or so of the hike. I still have about 2.25 miles to the summit of Flat Top Mountain, and I'll tell you, I mean, if the trail conditions keep getting worse or kind of stay about what they are now, I really am strongly considering just turning around at the Emerald Lake Overlook, which I believe is about another half a mile from here. So I'll see what it looks like when I get up there. I'm hoping I can at least make it up there at the very least. But yeah, this is definitely not the easiest terrain to hike through without snowshoes. Snowshoes would have been very helpful up this high, but oh well. All right, well, I just hiked through a particularly awful section of trail. Get rewarded with some nice views up here, but man, that last little stretch was just terrible. It's I'll show you. Well, first give you that view of Long's Peak, and I think that might be Emerald Lake down there. I'm not positive. I think that's Emerald Lake. It's either Emerald Lake or the name of the lake that I can't pronounce. But anyway, you can see the trail, and it's hard to tell, but it's like at a really crooked angle, and it's not well broken in at all. There's some snow drifts and stuff that kind of slope down on it. So it's like every other step I was slipping and post holing, and I mean, that was a good like 150 yards of that. So that just flat out sucked. I am definitely not looking forward to going back down that, but it looks like, at least for the moment, we're back to regular trail. As I say that though, I'm looking at something that looks like it could be another snowdrift up there, so we'll see. But I just looked at the map, and it looks like I'm getting, I don't know exactly where on the trail the Emerald Lake Overlook is because it's not marked. Oh look, he's making a lot of noise this morning. That's cool. Seen lots of those birds out here this morning actually. But anyway, I'm hoping I'm getting close to the Emerald Lake Overlook, because I don't know how many more sections like the one I just crossed I can take before I say screw it and just start heading back down no matter where I get to. But like I said, I should be getting pretty close. All right, well, evidently I may have actually passed the Emerald Lake Overlook without even realizing it, because as you can see, I'm breaking tree line right now, and I am fairly positive that the Emerald, if I remember correctly from the last time I did this hike, I'm fairly positive that the Emerald Lake Overlook is before you start breaking tree line. But I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. But man, these are some epic views from up here. This is really cool. And I mean, I'm gonna continue on a little bit further, but I mean, honestly, the snowdrifts are so bad up here. They're so bad. It's insane. But wow, what a epic view of Long's Peak. That is really cool. All right, well, I'm gonna keep heading up, but as you can see, I mean, you can see there's, you know, it's like the trail right here in this spot is well broken in, and then all through there, it's just one snowdrift after another. So it almost looks like the snow is kind of like, this trail unfortunately goes through an area that collects a lot of snow that blows down from the peaks up there. So yeah, see how it goes. I'm gonna keep trudging on a little bit further and see what happens. All right, well, I'm up at about 11,200 feet right now, still in a little bit of a stunted growth forest, but pretty much above tree line. Getting a great view over there to Long's Peak. You get a lot of good views of Long's Peak from this trail. And here's a first for this hike so far. Getting an excellent view of the Never Summer Range over there. And Flat Top Mountain is somewhere up in that direction. And the problem is that getting above tree line did not solve my trail condition problems. If anything, they've gotten worse. I mean, it's just like, it's nothing but snowdrifts up here. And it looks like up there's, you know, obviously there's a lot less snow up there because all the snow's getting blown down here. But unfortunately, I have to trudge through a good amount of this before I get to an area where, you know, it'll be easier to hike. So we'll see what happens. I would really like to get a little bit higher up, but not necessarily to the summit of Flat Top, but at least a little higher up on the, you know, up maybe to the bench up there. But we'll see what happens. Like I said, it's not exactly the most fun thing in the world to just be hiking through, you know, hundreds of yards of massive snowdrifts. But I mean, I keep going because it's just like so beautiful up here. I mean, this is incredible. And you know, this is a relatively popular trail in the summertime, but I mean, there's nobody up here right now. And I mean, it is just absolutely gorgeous seeing all of pretty much the entire eastern half of Rocky Mountain National Park in, you know, in the middle of winter like this. It's really cool and a unique experience. Okay, well, things ended up working out pretty well today. I am up at about 11,800 feet right now. So I'm actually not like all that far off the summit, but distance wise, it's still a mile and a quarter from here. So I decided to make this my stopping point. I was hoping to get like a little higher up on the trail and, you know, get up on a ridge or something like that, but it looks like that doesn't really happen until you're actually pretty much on the summit. So I just kind of took a seat here to take my first like real break since starting the trail and just admire these unbelievable views. I mean, this is just like out of this world. It's so cool up here. And I'm gonna have a snack, drink some more water, and then start moving again, because it is actually colder up here, which was expected, but it is colder up here than it was at the trailhead this morning. It's about 7 degrees right now, but the good news is that there is absolutely no wind. I mean, it is like a perfectly calm day up here, which is just incredible. I mean, that is like so rare that you get above tree line, especially in the winter time, to be above tree line and there to be like a total absence of wind. It's definitely not a very common thing here in Colorado, so it feels great. And I mean, as cold as it is, with the fact that there's no wind, it's making me feel like I can actually like sit here for a minute and, you know, have a snack and enjoy the views without getting too cold. And if I do start getting cold, I'll just get up and start moving, because that's the thing. Like when you start moving, you know, you totally forget that you're in, you know, single digit weather when you're exerting yourself. But anyway, I'm gonna admire these views for a little while, have a snack, and then I'll start heading back down. But yeah, this is awesome. As you can see, there's someone ahead of me. There's someone behind me too. But they're continuing up to the summit. Me and the guy in front of me, we decided to turn around. But yeah, it was nice meeting up with a couple other people up here and kind of joining forces to help break in the trail a little better and figure out where we were going. Because it's definitely easy to get off the path up here with all the snowdrifts and everything. But man, is it just absolutely incredible up here. It's crazy. This is so cool. All right, well, down there is Emerald Lake. This is actually the Emerald Lake Overlook. I was way off when you can see there it says Emerald Lake Viewpoint. I was definitely way off when I thought it was below tree line. I mean, it's kind of like right at tree line here, but yeah, I thought it was like way further down on the trail. But yeah, it's a great viewpoint. This would be a great stopping point too. I mean, I obviously went a little bit higher up, but you know, this would have also been a really good stopping point. The only thing that I appreciated about going as far up as I did is the further you go around that way, the better views you get of the Never Summer Range, which is great because you don't really get any views of those until you break tree line. You know, this side, you know, all these peaks over here like Longs and all this stuff, you get good views of that for, you know, most of the hike. But the Never Summers, you don't really start getting views down over there or up north until you kind of start getting above tree line and getting around that corner. All right, well, I'm dipping back down into the trees where many, many more large and annoying snowdrifts await me. But it's all good. I'm hoping I can make good time getting back to the Dream Lake Overlook, because from there, whoa, just post hold like crazy. Anyway, from there, it's only like 1.5 miles, I think, to Bear Lake, and the terrain is pretty good. The trail is really well broken in from Dream Lake Overlook and down. But as you can see up here, I mean, that's like I don't even know. That's got to be like a 8-9 foot tall snowdrift right there. That's a lot. Okay, well, I made it back to the Dream Lake Overlook. There it is down there. And you can see a lot of hikers hiking across the frozen lake, and even a couple of people on ice skates. Believe it or not, people do come out here to Dream Lake and I think Emerald Lake too, and will ice skate on it. And of course, still got that beautiful view of Long's Peak. And I'm noticing some snow swirling up there, and up there you can't really see it, but it's definitely a lot windier up there than it was when I was up there. So luckily I got back down into the trees before the wind started up there. But anyway, I got a few more cashews left, and I'm gonna eat those now because I'm a little hungry. Had a very small breakfast, and I've been, exerting myself all morning here. So that little snack I had up near the top didn't quite cut it. So I'm gonna eat a little bit more, drink some more water, and then should be about 1.5 miles of it should be relatively easy hiking the rest of the way down, because I do remember that the Dream Lake Overlook was where the trails started to become a lot crappier and not as well broken in, and where all the snowdrifts were and everything. So I'm thinking that it should be a lot easier going from here back down to Bear Lake. All right, well, the crowds are definitely picking up a lot more down here in the lower part of the trail. I'm getting fairly close to Bear Lake. Should be about maybe 0.6, 0.7 miles away. Not too much further. But yeah, seen a lot of backcountry skiers out here, and I really don't blame them. Like, this snow is just absolutely perfect. It is like just that fresh, dry powder that you dream of. All right, guys. Well, I am back at Bear Lake at the trailhead and finishing up a really awesome hike. The trail was actually so well traveled in the lower portion that I ended up being able to trail run the last like 1/2 mile, which was great. And I can hear that wind just howling up in that direction. So I am definitely glad I got down and below the tree line when I did, because that would have been terrible dealing with the wind up there. All right, guys, well, that is a wrap for this hike. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely be posting more hiking trips coming up soon. Definitely got a lot of cool stuff planned for the winter time, so I'll see you guys on the next adventure.